Hello, I'm Joel Hunter, and I am a LASIK surgeon. And today we're going to talk about what is LASIK. So LASIK is one of those things that's interesting because everybody knows what it is, everybody's heard of it, but the idea of what does it actually do, it's not as well known. And so I thought maybe it'd be helpful to kind of go through that. I'm going to start by saying how the acronym actually works. So LASIK stands for Laser Assisted In Situ, this one's a long one, Keratomeleusis. It's one of those kind of crowbarred acronyms because you've got the L here, there's an AS there's the I, there's the K, and that's LASIK because this is a mouthful. But the reason we're writing all that out is because of this part right here. Kerado, the root there it's just cornea. That's what it comes from in the root language. And so meleusis is the reshaping of it. But why does this cornea matter so much? Well, here's why. On the front of your eye, you've got this dome. If you look at somebody from the side, you can see the side of that dome, and that's called the cornea. And the deal with the cornea is that it's just a lens. As light comes into your eye, say you're looking at a candle. There's a candlestick here, a little flame. As the light comes into your eye from that candle, it has to make it to a focus point, and that's what your cornea does. It focuses it right into this one spot. And wherever it focuses things, it makes this little candle. Now it happens to make it upside down and backwards because that's how your retina works. Everything's upside down and backwards. So we're all well and good, but what if your retina, instead of being right here where that candle is, what if your retina in the back of your eye where the image has to be focused, what if it's farther back? And that's very, very common. That's what it is to be nearsighted. And it doesn't take much. If you're a millimeter longer from front to back for your eye, you're 3 diopters nearsighted. You have -3 glasses. You can't see an eye chart hardly at all without your glasses on. And so there's really 2 ways to fix this. One is to shorten an eyeball, which does not work, and the other one is LASIK. And the idea behind LASIK is, what if we took this dome and we got rid of this guy? More accurately, we got rid of the curve of that guy and we made it curve less. We made it more flat. Well, what that would do is it would bend the light a little bit less. Each light ray would come in a little bit more shallow. And then you get your image focused right onto the retina where you need it to be. So how do you do that? I'm glad you asked. So we've covered the idea of it's a cornea and you're reshaping it. You're taking that dome of that lens and making it flatter to make it less powerful to get rid of your need for glasses. The glasses are there because -3 means you're getting rid of 3 diopters of extra power that you don't need. That's what your glasses say -3 for. So you can get rid of those 3 extra diopters right on the front of the eye. So in situ, that part's easy. It's just you're doing it on an eye that's inside a living person or on a living person so that they can use it after you're done. The laser assisted part is the part that we want to go through next. So a laser is just a focused beam of light. It's light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. And what that means is you can take light and form it into a very specific wavelength so that there's coherence and it'll do really, really precise things. Specifically, the laser that's used in LASIK is called an excimer laser. And an excimer laser is a very, very, very short wavelength of light that's able to photoablate whatever it touches. And photoablate means that it uses light energy to break apart a molecule. It's not that it's burning things away. It's one of the myths about LASIK. It's that it's taking that light energy and taking a collagen molecule and breaking it apart into peptide fragments so that it's just gone. And it does about 1/4 of 1,000th of 1 millimeter every pulse that it does. And so it has to do a lot of them. But the way that this actually works is you're taking this corneal dome like so, and the excimer laser comes down and treats a little bit more in the middle, like this, and then a little bit less out here, a little bit less out here. And the overall effect of that is that it's flattening things down. Now, why doesn't that hurt? Well, there's two reasons. One, numbing drops are incredibly good. There's a drop called proparacaine that is able to make it so your eye is completely and totally numb. The same thing that makes your eye so incredibly sensitive. If there's just a piece of sand in there, it feels like a boulder. That's what makes it very easy to numb. They're very naked, thin little nerve fibers that are in there, and they go to sleep very, very easily. But what about when the numbing drops wear off? Well, that's where more of the laser-assisted stuff comes in. There is a femtosecond laser, and that's what does the first part of LASIK. So the way a femtosecond laser works is it lays down a little microscopic layer of bubbles, because your cornea has these natural layers to it, like an onion does. In the same way you can have a blade and cut through an onion and then see a bunch of rings looking at it, or you can take a layer of an onion off and you're just looking at the layer underneath. Well, when LASIK was done with a blade, it was like that onion that you cut. You were cutting through a bunch of different layers. Now that it's done with a laser, you can lay down a little layer of air bubbles that will be between two of the natural layers of the cornea. And so what that looks like, if we make that complete, is this flap that you can fold back. So that it looks like this. There's the layer folded back. And when you do that, you now have this cornea underneath the stroma, the permanent cornea, and you can reshape it. And then this flap just lays back down like nothing ever happened. And your eye heals over the course of the next couple of hours. That's how LASIK works, and that's how you fix nearsightedness. You know what? PRK. PRK. It's the forebear of LASIK. It came before LASIK did. It stands for photorefractive keratectomy. And what does that mean? It means it does exactly what LASIK does, down to the micron, except there's no flap. You just do it right on the surface. It's also why the recovery time is a little bit longer. There's the bonus factoid. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a nice evening.